Hi, I'm Sarah. Welcome to the Daily English Show. In Japan, when you go out for dinner or drinks and you're an English speaker, someone will often ask you a question like, "Are you strong with alcohol?" This question doesn't make sense in English. What it means is, do you have a high tolerance for alcohol? Or do you get drunk easily? Or can you drink a lot of alcohol? But even these questions seem kind of weird for most English speakers, I think. Talking about how much alcohol you can drink is maybe normal if it's teenagers having the conversation. Last night I had a dozen and a sweet ass. He's so soft, he only had a six-pack and he was off his face. Well, New Zealand teenagers anyway. Maybe other countries are a bit more civilized. Anyway, I would consider it pretty weird if, say, here in Canada, I sat down with a group of adults and we were drinking some wine with dinner, and then someone suddenly turned to me and said, "Sarah, can you drink a lot of alcohol?" But in Japan, this question is perfectly normal and very common. "Osake tsuyoi desu ka?" And this is the reason why. It's actually to do with race, one of the few things that actually does depend on race. Asians, well, I don't know about all Asians, but Japanese, Koreans and Chinese anyway, a lot of them have a kind of gene which means they have a lower tolerance for alcohol. I didn't know this before I went to Japan, and the first time I saw someone like that who had a low tolerance, I was so shocked because they go bright red like a tomato, and not just their face but their whole body. And the first time I saw it I thought they were going to die or something, and I thought, shouldn't we call an ambulance? But everyone around them was acting perfectly normal. So some people in Japan have that reaction and they just drink anyway. And some people drink like this much alcohol and they get really drunk, so they just don't drink. And other people can drink a lot. But for Caucasian people like me, that reaction is not so common. In fact, I don't know anyone like that actually. So the issue isn't can you drink a lot, it's more do you or do you want to? For example, in New Zealand, some people don't drink alcohol for religious reasons or just because they don't like it for some reason. And some people are alcoholics, so they can't drink it. Kia ora. In Stick News today, China Airlines have painted over their name on their burnt-out plane in Japan.
On Monday, a China Airlines plane landed in Okinawa, Japan. 8 minutes after it landed, it burst into flames. All of the 165 passengers and crew escaped. The plane's mangled body is still lying at Naha Airport, while investigators check the remains. Last night, China Airlines painted over the company's name and the flower symbol with white paint. Wikipedia says China Airlines is notorious for its poor safety record, described as one of the worst safety records of any airline in the world.
And that was Stick News for Wednesday, the 22nd of August. Kia ora. Didn't you fly China Airlines? Weren't you worried about safety? Why did you choose China Airlines? It's better to be poor than dead though, don't you think? It's not like you know which flight's going to crash. Yep. No, I vaguely remember something about planes crashing a lot in China, but I didn't really think much about it. The price. It was the cheapest. Yeah, I guess so. But even though they crash a lot, it doesn't mean the plane that I'm on is going to crash. Yeah. I'd like a ticket for the flight that isn't going to crash, please.
What's this called in Commonwealth countries other than Canada and Ireland? An aeroplane. What's this called in the US and Canada? An airplane. What's this called by aircraft engineers? A fixed-wing aircraft. What year did the Wright brothers make their first successful test flights? 1903. Airbus SAS is an aircraft manufacturer that produces around half of the world's jet airliners. Where is it based? France.
And that was the Daily English Show. See you tomorrow. Bye. They go bright red like a tomato, and not just their face, but the whole body. Stop laughing.